We are Gathering of the Geeks, a podcast and YouTube show built around the things we as geeks all love. Hashtag We Gather on Sundays. Thank you, everyone, for checking out episode number 1, the one where we introduce ourselves. I am one of your hosts, Emmet, and I'm joined by the Ted Lasso to my coach beard, Chris Evans. Chris, how's it going tonight, man?
It's going good. That was a solid intro. I wasn't expecting that. That was really cool.
I was wondering how, I think I told you like two days ago, maybe 3 days ago, that I was working on my intro and wondering what I was going to say. And I still haven't decided if that's going to be the intro, but that's the intro to episode 1. So,
that's better than anything I would do because I would just say, hey, welcome. We're here. Probably throw some spirit hands in there.
Yeah. So if you're watching and listening to this right now, you may recognize Chris and I. We used to be doing this a lot over on another site, another YouTube channel, but we have started our own thing. We have started Gathering of the Geeks. And this is kind of our first episode. We're 2 weeks into 2022. Started the second week now. And, we're starting this channel. We're starting this, podcast thing. But Chris, what is it? What is Gathering of the Geeks?
It is everything. And everything is Gathering of the Geeks. So what we wanted to do is just it's a space to hang out where we could talk about stuff we've watched, stuff we've read, stuff we're excited for, or just topics that come to our mind, and just to do it in an environment that we enjoy and we like to interact with everybody. So it's live, of course, and you also have that audio version too. It's just a space to gather. I'm going to use that word as much as I can now, to gather.
To gather, yeah, that's right. If you're watching right now on YouTube, that's the preferred version, I think. That's where the spot where you can come on to the chats. You can talk to people in there. And if you want to just listen to the audio version, that's fine too. That'll probably release a couple of days after our live Sunday show. But listen to it any way you like, and that's totally fine. We used to have a lot of people in the comment section when we were doing the other show, Chris. And already tonight, we've already got some of the people we knew and loved before. We've got Zeddy in the comments. We've got Cookie Minster in the comments. Got Grabs Granted in the comments. Juan, new to everyone here, it would appear. Juan, we are so happy to have you along and have you here in the comments. And there was one other one in the comments there too. Eric Summers. Eric, thanks so much for watching. It's really nice to have you in the chats, guys. That's the way we like to do it, and I hope you guys can come every Sunday. We have the hashtag We Gather on Sundays. It's like we're going to be here 9 o'clock on Sunday, 9 Eastern on Sunday. Hopefully every week coming to you talking about all the things that we as geeks love to talk about.
Which covers movies, comics, TV. Sometimes we'll probably talk about games. Ted Lasso also counts over any other category. Once that splits up again. I'm just saying. Grabs Granite's already hitting us. What a great comment. Your voices without your faces would be like ice cream without a cherry. So new thing, because it is an audio, guys, we're probably going to have to read comments that way. So don't be alarmed, or don't, if it sounds weird, it kind of, we got to make it so it's audio friendly.
Mm-hmm. So Chris, let's get started right away. What did we get up to this week? What did you read? What did you watch? What caught your eye this week?
So my favorite thing I read was X-Men Inferno, number 4. I love X-Men, and this particular book was really good because as much as I complained about X-Men and their overly long arcs and stuff, this one actually had a pretty decent payoff, and it was fun to read, and it did some things that I really liked, and it used some characters I liked. It wasn't just the usual, here's a bunch of characters in it for no apparent reason, they're just going to do this random stuff, and then nothing comes of it. So I really liked X-Men Inferno. I read the new Batman from Joshua Williamson. I dug that a lot. That was pretty cool. I think that's all I read though this week.
It was a smaller week for comics for sure. I don't even know if there were some big indie comics that came out this week that I was really interested in. I know for DC, they had the Dark Knights of Steel number 3, which is what I read from DC. Have you been reading that one? Have you?
So I do that thing where I just buy stuff and I let it pile up.
Yeah, your stack is big.
It's over here. I have like 11 books that I've bought in the last 2 weeks. I will get to them.
I will get to them.
I will.
What about, did you watch anything? Anything new? Anything old?
I watched The Witcher: Nightmare of the Wolf. I'm all in on The Witcher right now.
Yes.
I watched the second season. I've been playing the game, and I watched the anime.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm basically gonna go hunt monsters after this.
Hmm.
I gotta find a leche or something. So I watched that. That was really cool. And I'm not really an anime guy.
Hmm.
I don't do much anime. I like Castlevania, but that's kind of the only thing.
Hmm.
This was cool though. I enjoyed it. I like that it's a prequel, so it focuses on the character Vesemir. If anybody's not familiar with The Witcher, the main character's name is Geralt. I cannot pronounce his name, even though I've watched 2 seasons of the show, and I play the game. I think it's Geralt or Geralt. I don't know. It's fancy, and he's cool. But so the anime though is a prequel, and you learn about his trainer or his kind of like his father,
Hmm.
Witcher dad,
Hmm.
like Full House Witcher dad, I guess. And
Yeah. I was just
so
saying, as of our recording this right now, I think it was just announced like an hour ago that Bob Saget had died. So that's
yeah,
a weird pull.
I know that I thought about that after I said it. By the
Yeah,
way,
that's okay.
Vesemir is his guy. Let's put it that way. And
Uh-huh.
so the anime is all about Vesemir, kind of his journey, and I thought that
Mhm.
was really fun. It's also
What
incredibly dark for an anime too.
what's this about, a sequel series to The Witcher? Is there
You mean
like
the
another show?
yeah. So there's a prequel live action show coming.
That's the one. What's
Yeah,
that?
it's a prequel live action show. From where I understand, and I'm not positive because I don't know a ton about the universe of The Witcher yet. I just like it. But from what I understand, it is basically, I think it's how the Witchers came to be and all that. Cookie Monster says it's called Blood Origins. That's yes. I think it's how they came to be in that story. So it's gonna have a bunch of different monsters and different characters.
And so much as you're into the Witcher game and the TV show, are you looking for more of the world as well, or do you want more of just
Oh no
Geralt,
no, I
whatever
like
it
it all
is?
now.
Yeah, so yeah, you're invested fully in the whatever the world's
Yeah
called.
yeah.
Is
Blood
it called the
Origins
Witcher
is
world, or
which
what are we
yeah
what are we
maybe
calling it?
the Witcher universe, the
Witcherverse?
Witcher. There we go.
Yeah.
The Geralt verse. If anybody knows how to pronounce it and you hear me saying it wrong, I'm sorry. Let's just call it that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm fully invested in this world because like it's kind of like a more violent Lord of the Rings for me,
Hmm.
and I love Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorites. So to get this and it's kind of a darker take in that similar kind of world, I'm all in on it.
So I haven't watched season 2 yet. I was kind of skeptical about it because of I liked the first season, but I didn't like the timeline of it.
Mhm.
Did they change that for season 2, or is it the same structure?
No, season two is linear. There is
Okay.
no. It's not like that. It's a lot easier to digest. The only
Hmm.
complaint I had on season two is that it requires you to remember every single detail of the first season.
Oh.
You have to remember what they ate in the first episode. You have to remember the comment he made to an elf as he was walking by in the fifth episode. That's my only complaint on season two. You really just have to have a strong memory that I don't possess for this show. Also, it
How
was
long?
released in 2019, I think.
Yeah, how long between season? Did you do a rewatch of season 1, or did you watch season 1 when it came out and then watch season 2 when it
Yeah.
came out, or did you watch them closely together?
No, I just did the way I usually do it. Just whatever
Yeah.
happens, happens.
Yeah.
I watched the first season, when it came out, and then this season, I just latched onto it. I think it was the week of
Mhm.
Christmas, and I
Yeah.
was
Well,
playing
that's
the game as well in between that time.
yeah. How's that going? The Witcher game is, it's won every award it can win, and it's talked about as one of the best games in the last whatever 10 years, 15 years, whatever. So, what was your experience like playing that game? How many hours have you played the game so far?
About five. I'm not too deep
Oh,
into it. Yeah,
okay.
it's one of those games where I know I will get sucked into it, so I have to kind
Hmm.
of bide my time a little bit. But the bits I've been playing, I like it a lot. I enjoy the combat. It's really a heavy RPG that I'm not used to. I don't typically do those kind of things. Well, like the alchemy and mixing potions and things, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm enjoying it. I like the action. I like the story so far. It is a little dated because the game, I want to say, came out in 2015,
Mm.
maybe. So it's a little older, but it's very cool. A lot of cool stuff in it. It also seems pretty different from the show. So
Mm.
it's a bit of a shock to me. They're like, hey, wait a minute. But it's good.
What was your, even before season one came out, what was your limited level of knowledge for The Witcher? Like, did you know much about the books or anything like
Uh,
that before the series? And did you only watch the first series because Henry Cavill was in it and it was on
Bingo.
Netflix? Yeah.
uh, before the series, before season one, I knew he wore leather and he killed monsters.
Right.
That's about all I knew about the character because I'd seen footage of the game. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. But then when the series was announced, of course, I love Henry Cavill, and
Hmm.
seeing that live action, like the first trailer, I was like, oh, okay, this is something I would like. So I've been into it ever since.
Yeah, that was pretty much the same with me too. I almost think I just watched that first season just because Henry was in it.
Hmm.
And much like you, like I love the fantasy type stuff, Lord of the Rings, even Game of Thrones, that type of thing. So I was looking for something else, and I think I'm gonna have to watch season two now. Just because I want to see what that more linear story is like and how much it benefits my enjoyment of the series.
I think Ian this is the way we pronounce it, Geralt.
Yeah.
Okay, Geralt.
Geralt. All right,
Geralt.
Ian on in the comments section, letting us know how to say it. So Geralt, we're on it. Um,
I like Juan's reason for watching it too. I saw Henry Cavill and I felt bad that they didn't like him in Superman, so I watched him. I like that pity watch. I'm
yeah.
in for that. Like,
You
oh,
feel
okay,
bad
well,
for a guy, so I'm gonna watch something that's come out. That's good.
here you go, little guy. I'll watch your show. I'm in for that. I like it.
So just to catch up on the comments, guys, Philip Barker in the comments, how how's it going, man? Nico in the comments, hello, and Ian in the comments as well. How's it going, guys? Thanks so much for hitting us up on the live show. So actually, Grabs Granite made a comment about not spoiling Lost for him. That's what I've been doing. Um, I tried to do it, or I started it in about 2 weeks before Christmas, thinking that I was, just going to plow through Lost, and 6 seasons not that bad. But then I realized that there was 24 episodes per season, 45 minutes each episode, so it kind of dragged on. And then once Christmas came around, all I wanted to do was watch The Grinch, all that kind of stuff. So I'm back on watching Lost again. I'm on season 3 right now. I've been meaning to watch it for a while because our friend Chris Nico calls it I think he says it's the best TV show or his favorite TV show of all time. I'm not really sure. I think I tweeted about it when I was first starting to do my rewatch, that I didn't quite agree with that sentiment, but realized that it was a very good show. So I'm about halfway through the show right now, and I'm pretty much sticking with that idea that it's a very good show. Chris, you haven't seen the show.
No.
That's okay. Why haven't you seen the show? I guess is a fair question. It's a fairly big show. It was probably one of the biggest TV shows on TV for a while. Why haven't you seen Lost?
Well, I thought it was like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
First of all, I thought it was like adult Gilligan's Island,
Hmm.
basically, like modern or something. But I really just didn't have any interest in it. And I didn't know what exactly it was. And then I think by the time it got so far in,
Right.
it was like, well, there's too much for me to catch up on now. And I already kind of get the idea of what it is at this point. It's not Gilligan's Island, it's something else. And I just wasn't as interested. It's just one of those things where I think if you don't catch it from the start, like when it's happening, it's not the same.
Yeah, I remember watching it, and I thought I remember watching it when it was airing, and then I got through basically almost the full first season, and I'm like, I don't remember any of this stuff. And I realized by the time I got to the season finale of season one, where there's something happens, I realized that when I was watching it live, I watched the season finale of season one first, because I think I probably heard the hype,
Mhm.
and realized that I wanted to watch Lost. So that, like, I remember watching it. I'm like, I have no idea who some of these characters are, because some of the characters don't make it out of the first season, and by that last episode, they're already gone, and you don't see them. So it was a kind of a new experience for me watching that first season all over again, or again. Um, it takes a lot of. It's like there. It takes a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys to this show. There's a lot of real bad stuff, especially specifically in season 3. That's pretty laughable and hard to get through sometimes. But I compare it to, like, even when I talk about Dark Knight Rises, it has some of the best moments of Batman and some of the worst moments of Batman. And I feel like that's how Lost is. It's got some of the best moments in TV, some of the best characters in TV, but then it's got some of the worst and most annoying things that I could possibly see on TV as well.
But isn't that most shows that run that long? Because I feel like there's no series that is consistently great. Like, I love Game of Thrones a lot, but those last like 2 seasons are they're special.
The bad, man. You can say
special. You know, and that's kind of what I feel about like any series, even the ones I like, except Friends. I think Friends is ironclad. I will take no slander on it.
I was going to say, I'm going to pause for a minute. And our Friends' relation to Gathering of the Geeks will be our names of our shows. Chris came up with the idea. I gritted my teeth as it was happening, as I despise the show Friends, but I love the idea of the names. So going forward, our show names will be in relation to Friends episodes, where the one where or anything like that. So this first episode is the one where we introduce ourselves, which we already did, and now we're talking about stuff that you all know we talk about. Yeah, so that idea about all TV shows are like that. I think all great TV shows are like that, where there's the best moments and the worst moments. Middle of the road shows don't have those high mountains, those high peaks. They have just low valleys. And I think that's okay. And I understand that. And I think that's how, TV shows work. And, Grabs Granite made a good point about the writer's strike that happened in the middle of the seasons.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, much like the pandemic that's happening, it's almost like an asterisk that you have to put beside TV shows and movies a little bit, just to see how the season was getting made. Like when we were talking about, we talk about all the time, Ted Lasso season 2, how weird that one felt a little bit because they were filming in COVID and stuff like that, and how the structure of the season worked. Yeah, I totally forgot about the writer's strike, man. I forget that all the time that happened and shut down Hollywood for, however long it was.
Ian, are you talking about Game of Thrones here or Lost? Because Ian says, I've never theorized so much about a show. The character development is unrivaled in my opinion. By the end, the main characters felt like family, so hard to see them go, even more than friends.
I think he's talking about Lost.
Okay, Lost. I was going to say, I don't really didn't have that reaction to any Game of Thrones characters. Like, Khaleesi, you were cool, but you were kind of crazy. John, see ya.
Yeah, that's a thing too. Like the comment Ian makes there about theorizing about a show. Like the big thing now is like water cooler TV shows, where like if it airs on Sunday, if it's a Game of Thrones show or whatever, or Succession, the next day you go to work and that's what you're talking about. I think Lost was that show, and that's why I was surprised you hadn't seen it, Chris, because it was just so big. Because it was talked about all the time, and you're wondering what's happening next, and who's in there, and what's that thing, and what's the smoke monster, all the stuff that happens in the show. I think that makes total sense. That it brought people together in talking about what the heck was going on in the show. So I appreciate that for sure. And like I said, I appreciate the characters. It's got some of the best characters. John Locke, Jack, I think I've heard a lot of pushback on Jack since I started watching the show and when I was tweeting out about it. But I love Jack. Jack's, I think, my favorite character in the show. But I'm also understanding that John Locke is one of the top 5 greatest TV show characters of all time. So, Chris, I would definitely recommend it if you have, you're up until 3:00 in the morning, anyways. Just put Lost on in the background and let's talk about Lost.
I can try it. My background movie lately has been Step Brothers, but we could switch to Lost.
Is that what keeps you up at night?
Yeah, Step Brothers is like one of the best films ever created. I'm sorry.
I've never seen the whole movie.
What?
Never. I don't even know how much what part of that movie I've seen. I don't know. I've seen clips on YouTube. I think that's it. What do you think about that, Chris?
I think you've just hurt my heart, is what I think. No, Step Brothers is it's funny to me, but I know it's not for everybody. The thing about Lost also is there was a period of time where I didn't really watch TV series at all. I was only a movie guy, and
Right.
primarily still that's what I watch. I love movies, but lately I do watch more well, not more, but more than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lost will probably make it onto that list at some point. Like, I think the most recent show I went all in on that everybody raved about was Breaking Bad. And I mean, watching that, I watched 8 episodes in a day,
Yeah.
which is not something I do with any kind of series, but
Right.
I just had to watch Breaking Bad.
I always get nervous when, I haven't seen a show. It's talked about all the time, and then you finally put it on. And like I remember doing that with just recently with Ted Lasso season 1. And like it was talked about. You and Zeddy were talking about it nonstop. And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
all right, I guess I'll watch it. And then I watched it. And I'm like, I don't like this as much as I think I should. And like you said that you did that for Breaking Bad. It's almost a scary thing. You're like, you build up the expectations in your head based on other people's recommendations about
Yeah.
a show, and you're never sure which way it's going to go.
Well, comedy, I think it's different because comedy is different for everybody. Like Step Brothers versus Ted Lasso is a great example because they're two very different kinds of comedies. And typically, Ted Lasso is the kind I prefer. But, Nico Caruso. By the way, Nico, we have to say the full name because it's the audio one too. So Nico Caruso says, I also think Friends is overrated. No disrespect to those who love it, maybe just reflective of the time. The relationships and Friends are so toxic. Nico is also breaking my heart this evening.
It's really funny, all those shows that, Friends, Seinfeld, real friends don't talk to each other that way. They don't act the way. No, they don't.
Pivot. I like Juan's comment. We will see Chris making a map of everything connecting together in the episodes of Lost. That's very likely what will happen. I'll be that Charlie Day meme.
Yeah, that's right.
Ian says, Friends was amazing back in the day. Couldn't miss it. Dropped on Thursdays and watched with my family without fail, but I feel it hasn't aged well. I tried watching it recently and it felt... Is everybody out to hurt me tonight?
I think, yeah. I think...
At least Elle is with me.
Oh, I was going to...
I quote Step Brothers regularly. That's not breaking my heart. That lifts me up.
You have one friend in the comments.
I have one friend. Zeddy says we're on a break. Exactly. We're going to be on a break.
I assume that's a friend reference. I've never seen that episode or any of the... I think I've seen one full episode of Friends. Yep.
I had the Thanksgiving sandwich November.
I don't know what that is.
So, okay. There's an episode of Friends where Ross is a paleontologist. He works at a museum. And Monica that's his sister. Monica makes him this sandwich with Thanksgiving leftovers. It's called a moist maker.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, at work, Ross puts the sandwich in the fridge. Someone ate the sandwich. And Ross basically goes nuts, loses his mind over this, and gets fired.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's going, you ate my sandwich. It was a big thing. That's a voice break. The sandwich was delicious. I don't know why I brought this up.
No, that's fine. You're gonna have to explain, Friends to me every once in a while, just to try and sell me on its humor.
I think the next episode is the one where I teach Emmet about Friends.
That's right. Just be me hitting my head against the wall for an hour.
I mean, hey, if you learn, you gotta learn somehow. You gotta learn somehow. But back to Lost. I will probably watch it eventually, especially now that I realize it's not Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, well, not that there's anything wrong with Gilligan's Island. Don't like Gilligan's Island?
I like the theme song.
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've been up to this past week.
Also not breaking my heart, Cookie Monster. See, that was really a funny episode.
I didn't read much this week. Like I said, it was a smaller week for comics. That really grabbed my attention. Yeah, watching Lost. I don't know. I've been playing a lot of video games with my son. We recently just got the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. My wife bought it for me for Christmas, so we just got through that. I just beat the story, so I'm gonna let my son kind of fly around or flip around and do the side missions, all that kind of stuff. And we've been playing Lego Marvel's Avenger games, which he plays nonstop, and we're working our way trying to get all the characters. There's like 150 characters or something. It's just nonstop.
That is a
But it's a lot of fun.
undertaking.
It's a lot of fun. Using it's the Marvel universe all around. You can play as an X-Man and fly around with Magneto, or you can use Captain America, and there's like 6,000 Captain Americas and 5,000 Iron Man suits and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we've really been up to, which is fun. I've been wondering recently about how I'm going to get my son into things that I like. I've tried TV shows like the Batman cartoon, that kind of stuff, and even the Spider-Man PS4 game. He loved that, played that a lot, and it seems like video games is going to be his first real entry into the geek realm, I should say. Chris, you said you played the Marvel Lego game with your daughter, was it?
Yeah, we played. Yeah. We've been playing the Villains one,
and
that's been fun. But she's not too interested in it. She only likes certain characters, so. But she likes other games like. We got her Cooking Mama something. I forgot what the subtitle is. For her Switch, she likes that a lot.
Don't know that one.
I play a lot of Jurassic World Evolution 2, so she frequently watches me do that. When I'm not yelling at the little digital dinosaurs on screen. They're bastards. All of them. Do we have to get an explicit rating for that? I don't know how this works on the audio.
No, we're good. We're rock solid. We're good. Okay,
because they are little bastards.
Yeah, they're little bastards. I get that.
Little digital assholes. But anyway, I think gaming is a great entryway for like nerd stuff and just things you could do with the kids.
So guys, that's it. That's what we watched, read, what we caught our eye this week. Just a little catch up in the comments again. Lauren, thanks so much for watching. Chris from Lost in Comics, thanks so much for watching.
Carlos,
you guys are the best. Thanks a lot.
We have Carlos.
And Carlos, thanks so much for watching. You guys are the best. Thanks for joining us on our first episode. Chris, what do we got next? Do you want to talk about the poll that you had from last week?
I do like polls. I am something of a scientist myself. That's what I've been told.
We've heard that. So the poll from last week was your most anticipated 2022 DC movie. The options you put in the poll were the Batman, the Flash, and Black Adam, and then other. I don't think it's rather surprising who won the poll. I think we had about just under 100 votes, and I think it was 67% chose the Batman.
Yes, I'm like that.
I don't think that surprised anybody. Does that surprise you, Chris?
No, it's the Batman. Yeah, no, I knew the Batman was going to win. Sometimes, like, it's kind of funny because when I do any poll with the Batman, sometimes I put it there knowing it's going to win, and I just want to see how it plays out. It's always interesting anyway. In this scenario, though, I was actually curious because when you put the Batman and the Flash next to each other, I'm wondering which one of those are more anticipated by people, because those are pretty high on everybody's list. I think Black Adam is a big one too, but it mostly comes in third when in competition with those ones.
Yeah, so we had Batman at first place with 67.9% of the votes. The Flash was 13%, Black Adam 9.4%, and other 9.4%. I don't know if this is does this tell about the Flash and Black Adam, or is this just more telling about the Batman?
Just the Batman. I think that.
Okay.
I think there's no doubt in my mind Black Adam is going to be gigantic. Not only is it Dwayne Johnson, but superhero movies in general are just huge right now. And that one is going to be something a little bit different, I feel. Yeah. It's not going to be the typical blockbuster we've seen. It's going a little bit in a different direction. Plus the cast, I mean, Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate. Who does not want to see that?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. We haven't seen very much of the movie yet. We saw the tiny glimpses at Fandom. We saw a little bit of behind-the-scenes stuff. We saw Pierce Brosnan talking a little bit, and we saw that quick little I don't know what you want to call it. It's just a quick scene from the movie.
Yeah, that opening. I think it was the opening.
Or some point in the opening. So yeah, like, and we haven't seen Hawkman, we haven't seen the Atom Smasher or Cyclone. So I think it's really tough for me. Like, I can't remember if I voted, and I don't know what I would have picked, because I'm incredibly excited for the Flash, for Keaton reasons, for future DC movie reasons, for Flash action reasons, to find out what the actual movie's about, Supergirl, all of that stuff. And then I'm crazy excited for the Black Adam, for future DC movies, for what the action scenes are like, which we've heard through some people on Twitter have said they're Endgame-esque or Infinity War-esque. I think it's Endgame-esque. I can't remember who said it, and I probably don't even want to promote that person, who if they did say it. But I want to know what is going to come from Black Adam, because we've heard about the JSA, some of the characters that are in it. Aldous Hodge's Hawkeye. I can't wait to see him in the role.
So excited for that.
Yeah, but you're right. It's just the Batman, and I don't even know if it's just Batman or the Batman. Like, Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson, Andy Serkis, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell,
There's
Zoe
no Colin
Kravitz.
Farrell, only Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah, that's right. Like, there's just so much behind the Batman right now, that's just getting so many people excited, and the trailers have been so good. Like, I know you've been kind of not watching a little bit, but like, as Carlos says here,
I think Carlos has a perfect comment here.
If they all had trailers, people hype levels would be different, in my honest opinion. He's right. If Black Adam had a real trailer, if the Flash had a real trailer, it's very true, because the Batman is the one we've seen the most of, so it's easy to be more excited for the others. It's also the one that comes out the next.
That's the thing too. It's we've seen them, like I said, we've seen the most of the Batman, and I've avoided the latest two trailers, because I feel like I've seen enough of it and just injected into my veins now. That's kind of how I feel about the Batman. But these other movies, we don't know anything about him. Even, like, we don't know what Black Adam is about yet. We just know it's different. It's Dwayne Johnson. There's a big team involved. Sounds cool. The Flash, all we know is from that clip, there's two Barrys. Yep. We get Supergirl in this one. That's going to be awesome. We get Michael Keaton back. That's going to be really cool. We get Affleck's Swan Song in for that.
Right.
But as far as what it's about, we don't know. Even like Aquaman 2, which is coming out this year, we know nothing about that movie. Zero. And it's been at Fandom twice, and we know nothing. And that's not even like a slight or anything. WB's marketing, they're going to do what they got to do. They got to market the Batman first. And I feel like we're going to see some trailers for these other things really soon. Like, I'm thinking Black Adam is going to be with the Batman. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Because
that would be 4 months away, because I think it's out in June or July. I can't remember.
I think it's June.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right.
And we're only talking theatrical right now. We still got Batgirl coming to HBO Max. And that's going to be gigantic too. They're launching Batgirl and a new Supergirl. It's a cool time to be a fan.
Yeah. Your other option on the poll, I think somebody had selected Aquaman too. It's crazy that, like, it's the biggest DCEU film. It made over $1 billion, and how quiet it is right now. Like, it had a pretty quiet filming. Pretty much all we saw from it was the new suits that Momoa would wear, and the amazing Black Manta suit. We saw a couple pictures and behind the scenes stuff of Patrick Wilson. But again, we haven't seen much. So I think and how DC is doing it, and my man Zeddy in the comments, it's one movie at a time. What's that?
I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't the first Aquaman marketed this way too?
I can't remember.
I don't remember seeing a lot of it until it was closer to the release date, just because it was so effects heavy. That's the way I remember being, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows in the comments, let us know.
And who knows? We just saw recently that Morbius was moving. Who knows what's going to happen in the next little while? But I think the Batman still got it's March 4th, so it's just under 2 months away.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty crazy, and I think I was looking at you and I were talking last week sometime, Chris, about movies that were upcoming. Scream's out next week,
Yes.
and then there's really not that much for almost 2 months. So the build up towards the Batman might be bigger now because Morbius at the end of January has moved. So I feel like as much as we're excited about the Batman now, going on by the end of January into February when there's no real big blockbuster movie to go out to the theaters to see could have us even more excited for the Batman. I think that's how it's going to work for me. Like I won't be going to the movies now for a little while. They're closed again in Ontario where I am. But if they were to open back up, I don't think there would be a movie that I would be going to see in the theater until the Batman. And my wife's really excited to see it. It'll be the first movie she goes to the theaters to see in a very long time. I can understand why it won the poll. It's the next one coming out, and it's the freaking Batman.
Yeah, it's Batman. And I think there's just so much excitement going into this one because, I say that people want the multiverse stuff and they're interested, and I think they are. But at the same time, there's something special when you have maybe a self-contained Batman story that looks like this level of quality. Because whether you like the suit or you hate the suit, you like Pattinson, whatever, it's a solo Batman movie that is going to tell a complete story. You're getting Gotham again. It's not, like a blended version where he's sharing a movie with somebody else. It's all him, and I think that speaks volumes. And then you just look at the talent involved in this. Mm-hmm. Matt Reeves is a great director. Pattinson is a great actor. If you've seen Good Time, you can't. There's a lot of good stuff in that movie with him. Or The Lighthouse. I don't like The Lighthouse myself, but his performance is great. I've said it before. Jeffrey Wright has already won Best Gordon for me. As soon as his name was like dry on the contract after he signed it, he already won Best Gordon for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the Batman is going to be a special experience.
I think that's a perfect way to say it. It's going to be special. And it's interesting. You talked about you haven't watched the last two trailers. I've watched them, and I think this is what's helping it. It hasn't had a bad trailer. It hasn't. Everything they've shown us has been good. For myself, the first camera test or screen test or costume test with Pattinson was something that I really had to get used to. Yeah. Seeing him in the suit, seeing the cowl for the first time, seeing the helmet for the first time, shoulder pads, his cape, all of that stuff. That took a little while to get used to. But then once we saw that first trailer, saw him walking, saw him doing, beating the shit out of, the skull guy or whatever, and says, I'm vengeance. That's where it really sold me on his suit. So then everything we've seen since then, it's just been nonstop good stuff. Like I'll speak for you and say that the Bat and the Cat trailer is amazing. It's cool. Don't watch it. You don't need to. If you're already going to see it. It's not gonna, change anything for you. But the trailers have just been so good. There hasn't been a bad piece of marketing for this movie yet, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, like I said, I like all the promo pictures. I like the posters, and I'm going to buy too many toys. I have my McFarlane's on order. Whatever else I find, probably. I saw there's a new cap coming out with ears on it. I'm probably going to end up with that. I think it's made for a child, but
probably going to end up with that. I like that.
Yeah,
it's just going to fall into your cart.
It might. I mean, it has the ears, so it might. Maybe it'll fly. I don't know. Just fly into the room. I do have a bat signal on my desk, so it's possible. See?
Oh, nice.
I'll just
little small thing Chris whips out there. Yeah, nice.
I like. If only WB marketed every movie that's good. I agree. They should pay us, or at least let us see it early.
Yeah, that's Nick. I love Nico on Twitter is always saying that. He's always complaining that Marvel lost his Spider-Man No Way Home tickets in the mail, and Vigilante 1939. They must have missed out on the early pre-screenings. So
Yeah, we need to get to WB. Let us
that's
see it
right.
early. That's going to be our new campaign.
Okay, guys, that's our poll of the week conversation. We've got a new poll up on the Twitter account right now. Make sure you go to @G of the Geeks on Twitter. We've got a poll up right now with some Spider-Man talk. We want to know if you could have one of these films, which one would it be? Would it be Raimi's Spider-Man 4 or Amazing Spider-Man 3? So make sure you hit up the Twitter on that and let us know what you think. We'll be talking about the results next week. And we're going to end the show. We got just about 20 minutes left or so. It's only the 9th of January. It's 2022 is only a few days old. We already talked about the Batman and we're talking about some other things, but let's talk about what else we're excited for this year. TV show, comics, movies. Let us know in the comments, guys, or you can hit us up on Twitter as well. What are you guys excited about to watch, see, read in 2022? Chris, get us started, man. What are you excited for this year?
So, of course, the movies we mentioned, but also I'm very excited, of course, for Moon Knight. That's coming to Disney Plus. I know I haven't shut up about Moon Knight since probably the new book came out, and I probably won't until sometime next year. I'm excited for Moon Knight as far as TV goes, excited for Ted Lasso to come back. Only Murders in the Building. So I know I talked a little bit about this last year, but this show was such a great surprise. I cannot wait to see more of it. And I think they're almost done filming. I'm not positive on that one, but I'm in for that. Those are my top 2 or top 3 series that I'm waiting for. Other than that, I don't know if Blood Origins is coming this year from The Witcher. Oh, and Kenobi.
I think so. Oh, man, Kenobi.
Yeah, Kenobi's a big one for me. Looks like Euphoria is a big hit in the comments.
Yeah, I noticed that too. With what's his name, John David Washington and Zendaya on HBO. I didn't see the first season. Did you watch the first season, Chris, or know anything about it?
No, I didn't.
Nice.
But I've heard it's very popular. I didn't know John David Washington was in it, though.
Yeah. So I'll stick with TV shows as well, Chris, and let you know. It's funny, we were talking about what gets you most excited, and you weren't watching Lost as much because you weren't much of a series guy. That's pretty much all I am right now with TV shows. TV shows are a much better way of telling stories, in my opinion. And I was thinking about movies, and it's easy to say that obviously the DC movies are big. I'm glad you mentioned Kenobi. That's another one. Those Disney Plus shows are just they move slowly along. We never know what's coming next. We still don't know what's next. We've got Book of Boba Fett on right now. I assume there'll maybe be a week break, and then I know a Marvel show will start up. So it's interesting that we don't really know what's coming up. We know Miss Marvel's coming. We know Moon Knight's coming. Yeah. We know Kenobi's coming. So yeah, I'm excited for all of those. I think Kenobi might be up there for me, but I'm actually really excited about Miss Marvel. She's a character I don't really know that much about. I'm interested in how she works into the Marvels with Captain Marvel in it, and also with the lead actress in it. I can't remember her name, but she's a good little Canadian girl. So I'll be excited just to watch her on the screen and people fall in love with that character. But as for the TV shows for me, I put the Lord of the Rings one near the top of mine.
Was that this year?
Yeah, it comes out in September of this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which is pretty crazy. We haven't seen anything from that. And the other one for me is the House of the Dragon, the Game of the Thrones spinoff that we still don't really have a release date for, but we have one trailer for, and I think it's going to come out later in the year. But I wonder, the Lord of the Rings show is supposed to come out in September. I assume it's probably 12 episodes, so 12 weeks. So then Game of the Thrones, I don't know if they want to overlap and be on at the same time. But I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited for the Sandman show on Netflix. They released a trailer for that a little while ago that really didn't show much at all. I'm not a big fan of the comics not a fan of the quality of it, but it's just not my style of the art's not my style. The storytelling isn't my style, but I'm excited for the TV show. And the last, I'll name it one more TV show that I'm excited to watch is the new Star Trek show, Strange New Worlds. It's kind of like a sequel to season 2 of Star Trek, or season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, that's got Captain Pike in it and all the crew of the original Enterprise. So I'm really excited to watch that. I'm always excited for more Star Trek stuff. There's never enough of it. We're getting Picard season 2, I think, this year as well. So yeah, I think TV is going to have a hell of a good year.
Oh yeah.
Like you said, Chris, there's going to be stuff on Disney Plus. We're going to have, the Peacemaker show starts this
Thursday.
week, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Superman and Lois starts this week.
Is there any comments? I'm so excited for Superman and Lois.
Yeah.
I love the last season, so I'm so excited.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a crazy year for TV shows. And, these ones are really going to be, pandemic TV shows. All of them are 100% filmed during the pandemic, and they're all still coming out. So, I think it's a cool thing to think about as you're sitting at home, that, these TV shows can make us feel good too. Like, it's not all doom and gloom. Chris is excited for a Moon Knight show. I don't even know if you've ever thought you'd get a Moon Knight show ever.
No, Moon Knight's a character I figured I'd never seen anything live action, period.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize I was going through YouTube the other day. Moon Knight's been in video games that I've played and I didn't remember him in them, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, who was in this? I don't remember that. But yeah, Moon Knight's a big surprise for me. I never thought I'd see him. Or, if going by that, like, I thought I'd see Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker again.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting that. That is so cool to me. I'm very excited.
I don't think Heath ever thought he'd be Anakin Skywalker again.
Yeah, that's a surprise for everyone.
That happened after the Revenge of the Sith, right? So, yeah, crazy.
Revenge of Hayden Christensen.
What about movies? What are you excited about? Any big movies coming out this year?
Well, aside from the DC stuff, Jurassic World Dominion.
That's mine too.
Yeah, I am very excited for that one. I'm a big Jurassic Park, Jurassic World fan, which I don't really talk about much, considering, I don't know, there's not a lot of content other than the game.
Yeah.
And I guess there's Camp Cretaceous, which I've watched some of, but very excited for Dominion. Mission Impossible, was it 17 at this point?
Yep.
I'm very excited for Mission Impossible. Scream. I want to see Scream.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I can't really think of too many movies that aren't superhero films. Because then you go to the Marvel stuff, like Doctor Strange 2, of course. Oh, Carlos is right. Naomi is also next week. That's going to be a big show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty excited to watch that too. But we got Doctor Strange 2, The Multiverse of Madness, and if I would imagine we've all seen No Way Home at this point. And coming off of that, I mean, I don't think you can get a better lead-in than that. I don't think it's possible. And then we got Thor, Love and Thunder, which introduces Jane Foster as the female Thor. Cannot wait to see that. I'm so excited to see Jane Foster again. Plus, I mean, Christian Bale as a villain. Come on.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to see that?
Yeah, for sure. Jurassic Park was my pick, my number one pick for my most excited movie of the year so far. And it really comes back to, I just watched Ghostbusters Afterlife with my family just this last week. It came, it was on digital, so we watched that. I watched it in the theater with a friend of mine, but me and my son went to see No Way Home. I think it was probably 2 weeks ago now. It was one of the first movies that it was the first movie that I took him to, just me and him. Aside from that, we went to see the Grinch cartoon one and Secret Life of Pets 2. We went with my family to both of those ones. So this was the first. No Way Home was the first one that I went with just him. And I was still wondering how he was going to do. He's only 6 years old, and he's absolutely a maniac, and he's rambunctious and he jumps around like a crazy person. And it was really tough too. We went to the movie theater, and our theaters weren't allowed to serve food because you're not allowed to take your mask off, all that stuff. So it was really tough. 5 minutes into the movie, he said he was hungry, all that stuff. So anyways, we made it through No Way Home, just over 2 hours. And I cannot wait to go and take him to Jurassic Park. Jurassic World Dominion. He loves all of the Jurassic Park movies.
Mhm.
He loves the original 3. He likes Jurassic World. He loves World more just because of the the Indominus Rex and the Indoraptor,
Oh yeah.
more of the crazy dinosaurs. So I can't wait to take him to Dominion. He loves dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. So even if I didn't have kids, I would still be excited because nostalgia is the biggest thing in the world right now. It's in everything we talk about: TV shows, movies, video games, comic books. When Dominion's bring it back, Sam Neill is Dr. Grant and Laura Dern is Ellie Sattler. So it's going to be great. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to enjoy that with my son. The other one that I was thinking about, and you mentioned Mission Impossible, was Top Gun Maverick. That got pushed back. I think it was supposed to come out November of last year. I can't remember that now, but I'm excited for that. Top Gun's good fun. I'm a pretty big Tom Cruise movie fan. I pretty much love all the movies he's in. He's a really good actor. Just kind of a crazy person, which is fine too.
I mean, he just likes doing his stunts. That's fine.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a story, I forgot what it was recently, but for the next Mission Impossible, which I guess is Mission Impossible 57, they told him he cannot do a certain stunt. I forgot what it was though, but he wanted to do something. It had something to do with him wanting to fly a plane and run on the wing at the same time. I think it was. And at first I was like, no, this can't be real. But then I've thought of the other stunts he's done in the other films. Like, yeah, okay, I buy it. Sure.
Yeah, I totally believe people do anything.
Yeah, like yeah, he might do it, sure. But I also like his movies. Top Gun though, I have not watched the original.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah, no, it's not something I've watched, but I have seen Howard the Duck several times. So
yeah, that makes sense. That makes up for it.
I believe the phrase is "it tracks." Yeah. So I haven't watched Top Gun. Zeddy is a friend Zeddy is extremely excited for Top Gun. So because of his excitement, I will probably watch the new one just to see, what is this? And I will end up watching the original. It's got Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer. Big fans of both.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right, Chris, let's switch over to comic books, man. What do you got excited? Comics was a tough one for me to figure out because we only get solicitations 3 months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So we have March solicitations for comic books. We have no idea what's happening in April and onward. And we've seen. What's that?
You said April. I like April.
Yeah, it's that time between March and April. Some lousy Smarch weather.
Mm-hmm.
As we saw in 2021, a lot changes in comic books.
Mm-hmm.
DC specifically. The first 2 months of the year they did Future State, and then they kind of meandered along in the summer months, and then we got some real good books at the end of the year. So what are you excited for in 2022 in comics? Maybe not. It doesn't even have to be a specific comics, but maybe something you want to see for 2022 as well.
That's actually what I was going to say, because there's not really too many specific comics, but like an overall thing, I want to read more indie stuff because I really liked doing that last year. So like that Lemire book, I know you're waiting on. I keep the Boneyard or something.
Yeah, that's my list. Is the Bone Orchard Mythos?
Yes, that's the one I want to read too. And just more details, because I think some of my favorite books last year were just books I randomly heard about or picked up. Like The Me You Love in the Dark is one of my favorites last year. Mm-hmm. The Many Deaths of Layla Starr. Gun Honey, which surprisingly was really fun.
So much fun. Much fun.
Chicken Devil. There's a bunch of great indie titles, but so that's one thing. I want to read more of that kind of stuff. Just go outside the box of the big two, mm-hmm. Discover some new writers, things like that. I actually went back to the comic book store to get a book I saw on Twitter from our buddy Dragon Prime, who has immaculate Wednesday hauls every week.
He buys 20 books a week. He's ridiculous.
It's amazing. I can't even do half what he does, because I'll have bigger stacks that just sit there. But anyway, he was talking about a book from Dynamite called Pantera, I think, and I went to my store, they didn't have it, so that's something I would be tracking down. As far as like individual books go, like stuff I know I want to read, more Moon Knight, of course, but the X-Men have a new one called Immortal X-Men coming out. Excited for that. Legion of X-Men. Of course I got to read that. That new Batman book that comes out, I think it's next week.
Which one?
The Chip Zdarsky one.
Oh, fake Batman Begins.
Is it called
I
Dark
can't
Knight?
remember what it's called. Yeah, if anybody in the comments knows this, yeah, Chip Zdarsky's Batman. He's retelling the origin
Yeah,
of Bruce Wayne and Batman. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for that. Oh, and Benjamin Percy is bringing Ghost Rider back. I'm very excited for that. If you guys have read anything from Benjamin Percy, he just brings quality. Like his Wolverine is fantastic. His X Factor. Somebody told me he did some DC stuff too, but I haven't read that. But anything by Percy, I'll check it out. So his Ghost Rider, I'm all in for.
Yeah, you mentioned Ghost Rider, and we've talked about this before too. Another big Marvel character coming back is the Punisher, written by Jason Aaron. Is coming back. A lot of talk about the Punisher as a character, how he grows, how he moves forward as a character, and in the world that we live in right now. It'll be interesting how the Punisher moves forward. Because I remember the last series of the Punisher was the Soviet one that came out, which was okay. But then he was also in some of the Ghost Rider books that were coming out too, and they both kind of ended at the same time. Yeah, Punisher and Ghost Rider, they ended around the same time. I think it was either early 21 or late 2022, actually. So it's been a while.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever read a Punisher book. I know Welcome Back Frank is considered the holy grail of Punisher books.
Mm-hmm.
I have not read it. That's one of those things that they're on my list because I do want to read some new characters. So I'll probably read that. But as far as his return goes, I like Jason Aaron. I may check it out. We'll see.
So the big ones for me, the Bone Orchard Mythos from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. So they're creating their own connected universe. So they've got 3 different stories coming out in 2022, or 2 in 2022, sorry, that are going to be told in different ways. Starting in the summer, there's a story called The Passageway, which is a 100-page hardcover graphic novel that'll follow up that with a story in the fall of 2022, which is a 6 or maybe it's an 8-part miniseries called 10,000 Black Feathers. And then they kind of wrap it up again, or they continue it in the middle of 2023 with another hardcover graphic novel. So it's going to be interesting how, Lemire just signed a Image exclusive just this past week of recording this one. So it's going to be interesting how he builds out his Image work now. And obviously he's worked with Sorrentino before on Gideon Falls, Primordial, and the DC world as well. So that's probably my number one. I'm most excited for 2022 is anything by Lemire. It's kind of lame. I kind of feel bad because that's all I talk about in comics sometimes. Chris and I, we recently were on a Twitch stream with our friend Lauren, and she was doing her best of 2021, and pretty much all of my awards had Lemire in it. I don't want to say I want to try and experience other writers because I do. But it's just something about Jeff Lemire that just is for me. It's just the way he writes and how that's just the way I like. That's just what I like. So another one for me is the return of Something Is Killing the Children. Number 21. I think it comes out in March. We're getting Erica Slaughter back again.
Just a question. Since it is so many issues in, do we know what's killing the children?
Oh yeah, we know
okay.
that's something.
I was just wondering. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, there's going to be we're going to have a show one day where it's going to be Chris guessing things based on the name of it and also the picture, like a cover of it.
I was right about Saga though.
Yeah, that's right.
I was right about Saga. It's about good people and their relationships.
Yeah, that's right. Something Killing Children, number 21, comes out in March. It's Return of Erica Slaughter. We've got The House of Slaughter going on right now, written by Tate Bromble and story from James Tynion. So after that wraps up or is on pause for a while, we'll go back to the mainline story. It's one of my favorite series, Something Is Killing the Children. I'm excited to have it back. I'm excited to see where it goes. So that's pretty much it for comic books. And going forward, what I want to see more of Tom Taylor's stuff.
Yeah.
I think we're both a big fan of what Tom Taylor does, anywhere he does it. He's got some big stuff happening with DC right now. He's reading or writing Dark Knights of Steel that will wrap up this year. I think it's a 12-issue series,
Yes, 12
and
issues.
number 3 just came out last week, so it should wrap up this year. Nightwing, Son of Kal-El. There's going to be some crossover issues with those two. I can't remember when that's for, but it's coming out soon. So I'm excited to see where the big two go this year too. Where does Batman go with Joshua Williamson's run? Where does what happens with Clark in Philip Kennedy Johnson's Action Comics, and what happens with Son of Kal-El and John Kent with Tom Taylor stuff? It's going to be interesting
Weren't you
how
excited for
it
Saga
all
too?
shakes out. Yes, Saga number 55. I think it comes out in 2 weeks, maybe not even that much from this recording. I just, before the end of last year, I did a reread of all those. It's a crazy, ridiculous, beautiful love story, and I can't wait to see where it goes. I'm also incredibly scared from it. It's been a couple of years since the last issue. Just to pick it back up again, who is the story for people like me, or is the story for people like you, Chris, that have never read it before and are going to jump right in? So it's going to be interesting how that one plays out.
If it has goat
but
people,
Brian
I
K.
might
Vaughan
be
is what's that?
If it has the goat people, I might be in.
Oh, it's going to have the goat people, man. The
Or
goat
that
people
weird
are
TV
going to be
thing you
there.
showed me.
They're going to be having sex, and there's going to be weird things happening. That's what the series is. So
who am I to judge?
Brian K. Vaughan's the best. That's another thing that I should have mentioned for TV shows is the Paper Girls TV show that is coming to Amazon Prime, based on the comic book series by Brian K. Vaughan. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see a glimpse of that. I wonder if it's coming out this year. I would think it is. I think they filmed it last year, so I'm really excited to see that too. All the stuff, all the things,
all the stuffs. There's a lot of cool stuff this year. It really is, and I think also some of it is like the pandemic dump, if you will, because they stopped working and then they just built up this catalog, and now we get it all this year. A lot of stuff this year. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm interested to see. And also, this is kind of maybe not something I want to read personally, but I'm interested to follow where Substack goes.
Right.
I'm very curious how that's going to play out.
Yeah, well, it's pretty interesting how it went from its release. Like there was such big talk about it that these people were leaving. They're moving to Substack, and we're never going to hear from them again. And it's funny. I subscribe to the free version of the Jeff Lemire one. He releases one comic book on there. It's called Fish Flies. It's okay. It's fine. But then that's pretty much it. Everything else is behind the scenes work. He gives updates on what he's doing. He says what's going forward. You get a newsletter like that, the news release that came out a couple days ago with his exclusive deal with Image. Like he sent that in his email. There's stuff about Donny Cates. He still writes for Marvel. He's still writing, the Hulk. Tinian still releases stuff through Dark Horse. I can't remember who else is on.
Jonathan Hickman, Zdarsky, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, any major writer they have a Substack now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting if it grows.
I'm curious.
And if it fails, like I don't know how it would fail because it's basically the writers are banking on themselves, which is what they do anyways in creator-owned work. Mm-hmm. So I just don't know.
I think it's just the ultimate freedom for them. They could just do whatever they want.
Yep.
So I think it's cool, but we'll see. I do want to keep an eye on it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So that's the look ahead to 2022. Like Chris said, it's going to be a crazy year. Like just talking about, you can talk about one thing. You can talk about DC Comics and you will be excited. You can talk about Marvel Comics and you will be excited. You can talk about any TV show that you like. It's probably coming out this year. And there's going to be a pocket of every medium that is exciting this year. I don't think, I'm sure it's happened. It's got to have happened, but I don't know if maybe it's just something because we're looking forward to things more. We're looking forward. We're in the know a little bit more. We're in the Twitterverse where, you hear everything, you see everything. But I'm excited for this year for all of the stuff that, why Chris and I started this channel. So we can talk about it because we will talk about the only the murders in the building. We're talking about the small stuff, and there's stuff for everyone to talk about. So I think 2022 is going to be a crazy good year. I'm excited for it, man.
I am too. I think we got a lot to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, I think if even half of it is good, we're doing pretty well.
That's right.
Even if half of it is good.
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's going to be something for everyone. And that's what I'm excited about, because there's a lot of stuff that comes out, specifically in the Marvel side of things, TV shows, movies, where it doesn't get me that excited, but there's always going to be the DC and the indie stuff that gets me excited. So like I said, there's something for everyone, and I can't wait to talk about it. So that's a look to head to 2022, guys, and that's going to wrap up the show for today. Before we get to a lot of other things, I just wanted to say thank you again for everyone in the comments on the live stream. Grabs, Juan, Ian, Nico, Zeddy, Lauren, Eric Summers, Philip Barker. You jumped in a bit early on. Who else am I missing? Anybody else here, Chris? Juan, thank you so much. He's been here from 10 minutes before the show. Yeah. Cookie Monster, Ian, Carlos, Chris from Lost in Comics. Thanks so much for watching and commenting, guys. It really helps Chris and I get through a show sometimes if we can add in your comments. And you guys help us out with things when we forget what stuff's called. So this is that was the first episode. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. So before we get on out of here, we are going to plug some stuff, and I don't know how smooth this is going to go, but plugs are always a weird thing to do. So Chris, go ahead and plug, man, whatever you got going on.
You guys can follow me at DacChris70 on Twitter, although I prefer you just follow the show, G of the Geeks on Twitter. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I know Emmett's going to do all that because he's better at it than I am. And I was also on an episode of the Simply Amazing podcast with our good friend Lauren, so please check that out too.
Thank you so much, Chris. You can follow me on Twitter at EmmettDavis7. But like Chris said, we're really trying to build up the Gathering of the Geeks Twitter account. So you can follow us there at G of the Geeks. If you're watching on Twitter right now, make sure you hit the like button, the thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. It's a weird thing. Actually, having more subscriptions on the YouTube channel helps us grow the channel in different ways. So we can change the name of the URL a little bit. So make sure if you're following us on Twitter, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Like I said, we are recording this for the audio version, which will be out later in the week, and we will tweet that out from the G of the Geeks Twitter account. We will be on Spotify and Anchor and hopefully some other platforms going forward as soon as we get some shows and get some likes and get some downloads, all of that kind of stuff. In saying all that, I don't know how to end the show just yet, Chris. So I just want to say thanks, man. Thanks for a good episode number 1, the one where we introduce ourselves. Have a great night, everybody.
I missed you. Goodbye.